In June 2026, the most expensive entertainment venue ever built announced its biggest hit, not U2, not Metallica, a film from 1939. The Wizard of Oz at Sphere had passed $400 million in ticket sales and 3 million tickets. That sounds like a triumph, until you remember what this building was supposed to be. $2.3 billion, the future of live music. And the act carrying it is Judy Garland, dead since 1969, recut and enhanced by artificial intelligence. Stand on Cova Lane at dusk, and you understand why anyone believed. 366 feet of curved steel, wrapped in a 580,000 square foot skin of light, blinking at the desert like an eyeball the size of a cathedral. Inside, 17,600 seats face a screen that wraps around you until your brain stops treating it as a screen. It is, by any honest measure, one of the most extraordinary rooms humans have ever built. It is also, by the company's own filings, a machine for losing money. Here are the numbers Sphere Entertainment reported for 2025. Revenue across the whole company, $1.22 billion, up 8%. Operating loss, $229 million. The Sphere segment alone lost $268 million at the operating line, and that was the good year. In 2024, the same segment lost $421 million. Record crowds, record revenue, enormous losses. So how does a building sell out almost every night and still bleed? The answer starts in 2018, when James Dolan told the world he was building a new medium. Dolan runs Madison Square Garden, owns the Knicks, and had spent a career being told he was the least visionary man in American sport. The Sphere was the answer to that. The original budget was around $1.2 billion. By the time it opened, it had reached $2.3 billion. Pandemic delays, material inflation, and a design that kept evolving while it was being poured. Contractors sued over unpaid balances. Sphere countersued. Most of it was settled quietly, the way billion-dollar arguments usually are. Then, on the 29th of September, 2023, U2 walked onto the stage and, for about 20 minutes, every skeptic in Las Vegas shut up. The room worked. Bono looked up into a digital Nevada sky, and the audience gasped in a way audiences had genuinely stopped gasping. The Sphere was not hype. The Sphere was real. The problem was never the experience. The problem was the arithmetic underneath it. A building like this does not simply cost money once. It costs money every single day it exists. Depreciation and amortization on the Sphere segment came to $327 million in 2025 alone. That is roughly $82 million a quarter, evaporating off the balance sheet before a single ticket is sold, a single beer is poured, a single note is played. Property and equipment on the books stood at $2.5 billion in June 2026, and it is falling by hundreds of millions a year. The Sphere does not need a bad quarter to lose money. It needs a quarter. Which brings us to the part nobody planned for. The artist cannot afford it. At the Sphere, the venue supplies the room. The performer supplies the content. Every custom visual, every frame wrapped around that dome, every remix rebuilt for the spatial audio system that bill lands on the band. U2 reportedly spent around $40 million building their show. The Backstreet Boys paid a reported $7 to $8 million just for graphics. Zac Brown, one of the highest grossing country acts alive, said out loud that he was going into debt to be there. Reports put his personal outlay at $6 to $8 million for 6 shows. Think about what that does to the guest list. To headline the Sphere, you need 3 things at once: a fan base that will fly to Nevada, a catalog deep enough to fill a month, and 8 figures of spare cash you are willing to gamble on a light show. That is not a music industry. That is a short list, and it is getting shorter every year as the arena-filling generation ages out. Oasis reportedly walked away after Noel Gallagher heard from Bono what the thing actually costs. Beyoncé's talks collapsed, according to sources, over her asking the venue to go dark for 2 weeks so she could rehearse, 2 weeks the Sphere could not afford to lose. Harry Styles was reported as close to signing and never signed. And the strain shows up in the filings. In the second quarter of 2026, the Sphere segment posted its best revenue quarter in that period yet, $226 million, up 29%. Event-related revenue still fell by $11.7 million, with the company noting lower per-concert revenue. The segment lost $69.6 million for the quarter. Read that again. The concerts, the entire reason the building exists, went backwards while everything else went forwards. So Dolan did the only thing left. He stopped waiting for bands. Postcard from Earth gave way to The Wizard of Oz at Sphere, a reconstruction of a Warner Brothers classic costing $100 million, expanded frame by frame using Google DeepMind, produced by Jane Rosenthal, cut down to 75 minutes, and run like a Cirque show, multiple times a day, every day. It worked. 3 million tickets. $400 million. It dragged Sphere Entertainment to its first profitable year, $33 million of net income in 2025, though it is worth knowing that year also contained a one-off gain of $346 million from restructuring debt. Strip that out and the profit disappears. Look at what the building has quietly become. Half of the Exosphere's screen time is now advertising, carrying Anheuser-Busch, Delta, Coinbase, TikTok, Adobe, Google, and Amazon across the Las Vegas skyline. The interior runs a film from 1939 with Rocky Horror queued up for 2027. The world's most advanced concert venue makes its living as a cinema wrapped in a billboard. That is not a failure of engineering. It is the collapse of a promise. The export plan has not been kinder. London was supposed to be next. In November 2023, Sadiq Khan refused the Stratford application over light intrusion, energy consumption, and harm to heritage sites. And by January 2024, the company had withdrawn entirely, calling the process a political football. What is left is Abu Dhabi, sited on Yas Island, with construction due to finish by the end of 2029, and a 6,000-seat version at National Harbor near Washington, expected to cost about $1 billion, with roughly $200 million of that offset by public money. A building this loud only gets built where the politics allow it. Now, in fairness, there is a real case on the other side, and the market is making it loudly. Sphere Entertainment's adjusted operating income hit $261 million in 2025, up 138%. Operating cash flow for the first half of 2026 was $102 million, against negative $52 million a year earlier. The stock has been one of the best performing in America, up more than 260% over 12 months, with Morgan Stanley lifting its target to $158. Dolan's argument is simple and not stupid. The room can turn over in under an hour, so it can run a film and a concert on the same day, and every extra show is close to pure margin. The bears are just as loud. Around 27% of the free float has been sold short. The valuation price is in a global network that does not exist yet. MSG Networks, the other half of the company, is watching subscribers fall about 16.5% a year. And Las Vegas itself is thinner than it was. 38.5 million visitors in 2025, down 7.5%, the steepest fall outside a pandemic in modern memory. The Sphere is betting on a city that is currently losing customers and paying $82 million a quarter for the privilege of waiting. So what actually collapsed here? Not the structure. The structure is magnificent, and it may well survive for decades, the way Vegas landmarks do. What collapsed is the story that was sold with it. That spectacle alone could reinvent live music. That if you built a screen big enough, the greatest artists on earth would come and fill it. They did not come because the maths did not let them. The venue survives by doing something far more ordinary than its brochure promised, and something far more honest. It sells wonder by the hour on a schedule to tourists who book the ticket before they book the flight. Every industry eventually meets the same wall. You can build the most beautiful thing in the world, but the thing still has to pay for itself on a Tuesday in February. $2.3 billion bought the greatest room ever built, and then handed it to a girl from Kansas who has been dead for 57 years, because she is the only performer on earth who never asks for a fee, never needs rehearsal time, and never says no. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to the channel and like the video. There's a lot more coming.